To all of you. My name is Janet Moreno, and this is my testimony. A lot of people think that the only way for us to become Christian is by going to church and doing a prayer and accepting Jesus in your heart. A lot of people can do prayers. We can all repeat a prayer just because somebody took us to church or because our parents are pushing us to do a prayer, or many reasons why people do prayers. However, when God has the eye on you and when God has chosen you, even if you did or didn't do the prayer, He touched your life in an amazing way that you really receiving Him and embracing Him in such a way that you never let go. When I received Jesus, I was a person that I was very Catholic Roman. You know, I've been a Catholic person all my life. I have been going to church because, you know, the grandparents, the parents, and everybody just tell you, you got to do all these rituals in order for God to love you, in order for God to be happy with you. And that used to be my thought of God, you know, of going to church. I got to do this because if I don't do it, He will punish me. And a lot of people think of God and think of Jesus and Christianity on that way. They think on the way that if you don't do this way and this way and this way, then you're never going to be saved, or you're going to burn in hell. So they put all this in our souls that we're going to burn in hell, that everything is going to be a mess because we don't do it just this way and this way and this way. So we become people with a whole bunch of rituals, religious rituals, and we become people that are in bondage, because that's what religion does to you. A religion will keep you in bondage. A religion will keep you blind because will not allow you to see the truth that it comes through knowing Jesus, and that truth will set you free. Well, that truth came into my life about 23 years ago when I was desperate. I remember being in the living room of my house wanting to just die. I had it with life. I was an alcoholic. My life was a mess. I was, you know, going through a really bad divorce. I had no money. Everything was going wrong for me, and it has been since really, truly, I was born. I remember and I recall one day saying, or asking God, saying, you know, am I going to cry the rest of my life? Am I always going to be crying because nothing good ever happens to me? And, you know, little by little, I'm going to be telling my testimony and telling the story how I really became a Christian woman and how I've been serving the Lord for 23 years in the mission field as an evangelist and doing so many great things for the Lord and for His glory. As I say before, we always focus on a religion that our parents will teach us, a ritual that our parents will teach us. And we always see God as this father that is there with a whip trying to see if we do something wrong to hit us or to punish us, because we always compare God as the parents in here on earth, you know, as the way our parents were or the way other people's parents are. But the truth is, I met a Jesus in a total different way. I met a loving Jesus that wanted to love me, wanted to transform me, wanted to deliver me in such a mighty way that my heart just, you know, is full of joy and thankfulness in my heart. Because if you knew me before and you knew my life before, nobody will give a cent for me. Nobody. They will thought I was gonna really truly die in a bar, that I was gonna die because I was a drunk. They thought that I have, you know, I was such a mess. And I was a mess because obviously I grew up in a home that all I can see was violence, that all I can see is alcohol and people getting drunk and, you know, partying all the time, and a lot of people with a lot of rage. And all those things start taking place in my own life, in my own soul. My soul was full of rage. My soul was full of anger. My soul was full of all the bad things that you can think of. Being angry all the time, trying to commit suicide many times, and not being successful, obviously, because God had something else and bigger for my life. So the way all this started truly is that one day I was at home. I had it with life. I was desperate because I just had it. And I remember sitting in the chair, the sofa in my living room, and just lifting up my eyes to heavens and say, if you are true God, if you're real, then deliver me, because I do not want to live this life anymore. This life is painful. This life has a lot of hatred, and I am so tired of living the way I've been living. In that moment, I remember feeling something like it was fire from my head, from everywhere. My heart was full of fire. Everything was full of fire. And I remember seeing in the spiritual, now I know it's in the spiritual realm. I didn't understand that at the moment. I thought it was like I was dreaming, but I was seeing like a television screen. In that television screen, I will see my life. All the things I have done, all the pain, all the times I tried to kill myself, all the times I got drunk, and all the things that I did to other people. And I would see it like a movie. And that movie was making my heart, like I was in pain. It hurt. And I was just looking at the movie, but looking at myself, obviously, in the movie, and knowing that I was a sinner. I had conviction right away that I was a sinner and that I needed to repent, that I needed to just do something different, change my life. So I started really like looking at these things, and I was just there on the floor crying for about 3 hours of crying, 3 hours of just saying, God, forgive me for what I've done. Forgive me because I want to change. I want to be a new person. I don't want to be this woman that has so much hate inside of her. I don't want to drink anymore. I don't want this. I just didn't want it anymore. So those 3 hours, I was being delivered in my soul, delivered from all the pain, delivered from all these memories, delivered from all the mess my life has become since I was born into that time, 23 years ago. And at that moment, something happened inside of me that I felt like somebody left like a whole weight out of me, like they took it, and I felt light. I had joy. I felt happy. And I was like, oh my God, I was feeling something that only those people who have been through this will understand, the joy that you feel, how your soul feels so free, how the hatred just gets out of you, and you just start to feeling totally different. So at that point, I just started like going into a church that a friend invited me at that moment, because the Lord knows when you prepare. He is the one that prepares us. He is the one that has the exact date when your salvation is going to come and is going to take place. And he did it with me, and it was amazing, because I started going to church and I started having all this joy, even though the minute I received Jesus, the minute I did confess him in my household, and I just told him, I want to work for you. I want to do whatever it is that you want me to do, and I want to do it for your glory. I do not want to know a religion. I want to know you, Jesus, face to face. Oh God, why did I say that? You will see in the next chapters that I'm telling the testimony, all the things that start happening to me. But one of the things that really started happening to me was that at that moment I lose my job. The bank came and take my car away, and they just threw me out from the house where I was living, obviously, because I couldn't afford paying the rent. Because there's something about sin. And sin, when you are in bondage from sin, when you're in bondage of living that life, like you think you having fun, like you think you're enjoying it, drinking and making a mess out of yourself, taking pills, fighting with people, you think, oh, that is great. But at the same time, that life that I was living was making me more poor, was making me more miserable. So I never had any money. I would work, but I would never have any money. I will do things, but you know, they were always cutting my life. I would never have water. I mean, they would throw me at apartments one after another. I was evicted many, many times, and I had to live in pure poverty. I mean, I had to live in my car many times with my kids, not having even milk to give to my kids. So it was a mess. Yeah,